So when I was younger, I was one of those kids that said sorry for everything.
Hey, yo, Desmond, can you hold the door for me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Although my sorries didn't really hurt anybody, the one person that couldn't stand it was my dad. One day, I was helping him put together our basketball court, and every time he asked me to do something, I would say, oh, I'm sorry, and he started freaking out.
That's it! The next time I hear you say, oh, I'm sorry, you really gonna be sorry.
I already knew what that meant, so I told myself I wouldn't say I'm sorry. Once the basketball court was put together, my dad said,
All right, Desmond, raise it up.
I started raising the court not knowing that his hand was still in there, and I crushed his hand.
Oh, my hand, my hand.
And I couldn't help it. I looked at my dad, and my dad looked at me.
Boy, don't you say it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Get over here, boy. You
sorry.
won't be sorry.
Oh,
I'm gonna make you sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. So when I was a kid, my dad was a fairly nice guy. But the one thing he didn't tolerate was people coming to his house and not speaking.
Excuse me, do you got something to say?
Here's your food?
No, when you step foot on my house, you better say hello.
So I had this friend whose name was Cole. I like Cole because we were very much alike. The only difference between us was that he didn't know how to speak, and my dad couldn't stand it.
Excuse me.
Hey, yo, Cole, speak to my dad, or you're gonna have to go home. Sup?
So, do I look like one of your little homies? Boy, you better respect me in my house.
The next time Cole was about to come to my house, I reminded him to speak to my dad. But once again, he forgot.
Hello, Cole.
Cole, speak to my dad.
Boy, what's wrong with you?
Bro, you're gonna have to leave.
You gonna step foot in my house and not speak to me?
Come on, bro, just say hi. What's poppin'?
Get out of my house.
So when I was a kid, I loved staying home and playing my drums. My parents had to force me to go outside, but after a few minutes, I would just sneak back inside. Well, one day while I was playing my drums, my dad told me to come outside and play catch with him. I told him I didn't want to, but he said,
Come on, boy, just 5 minutes.
So we went outside and started throwing the ball around. And what I didn't know was I was pretty good at it, but I still wanted to go back inside and play my drums. I asked my dad if we were done yet, and he said,
Come on, just 5 more minutes.
It went from 5 minutes to 10 minutes, and 10 minutes to 20. By that time, I was over it. I'm done, Dad, I'm done! I closed my eyes and threw the ball as hard as I could.
Oh, you gonna get it now?
I broke the window and I ran for my life. So believe it or not, when I was younger, I didn't know how to sing, and my 2 older brothers let me know. So anytime we were on punishment, which was often, we had to stay in our room all day with no TV. So to pass time, we would come up with funny songs. Staring at these walls, got us losing our mind. Broke dance lost, now we're doing the time. Yeah, we gotta stay cooped up till the sun don't shine. I got so tired of them picking on me that I practiced my singing every day. The next time we were on punishment, I was ready to show them. There's nothing to do in here. Hey, let's sing that song we made the other week. Staring at these walls, got us losing our mind. Brutal walls, now we're doing the time. My brother started jumping up and down, telling me how good I sound. And from that moment on, I was no longer a bad singer. So let me tell you about the time that I accidentally brought roaches into my house. So one day I was walking home from school, and I seen a laptop on somebody's trash can. I was really into fixing computers, so I brought the laptop home. As I was walking into the house, my dad stopped me and asked me where I got the laptop from. I told him I found it in the trash, and he said I couldn't bring it in the house for a whole week. I asked why, and he said,
There might be some bugs in there, so you need to let it air out.
I was mad because I just wanted to see if the laptop worked. So after waiting for like 2 days, I brought the laptop in the house. The next morning, I woke up to my dad yelling,
Oh my goodness, there's roaches everywhere! How did we get roaches?
He didn't know that I brought the laptop inside, and I was not going to tell him. But later that day, he came into my room while I was on the laptop.
Come on, it's time for dinner.
He looked at the laptop, and then he looked at me.
So you caused this?
Dad, I can explain. But he did not want to hear it. He threw the laptop out the window and made me hold every roach he found.
How does it feel, roach boy?
So this one time, I was out of school for a whole week because I was sick. And at the end of the week, my dad came home with all of my makeup work. Instead of just letting me do it alone, he sat down to make sure I did it right. And I didn't like that. When it came to schoolwork, I liked to rush and just get it done, no matter how sloppy it was. But perfection was the only thing acceptable to my dad. Anytime I wrote a word, he would check it, and if it was sloppy, he would make me write it over. It took us 10 minutes just to get through one sentence, and I had so much makeup work to get through. It was getting really late, so I started pretending like I was tired, hoping he let me finish the rest the next day.
You better wake up, boy, because we ain't leaving this table until all this work is done.
I didn't want to be there all night, so I started being neater with my work. And when I was done, I looked at my dad, and he had his belt out. I was confused since I thought I did a good job.
So all this time you could write neat?
I didn't want to lie to him, so I told him I was just rushing.
Oh, really? Well, boy, you got 3 seconds to rush out of here before I get you. 1, 2.
So growing up, my brothers and I would play a game called balcony paper toss. The person who could catch a piece of paper at the bottom of the balcony the fastest won. But our dad didn't want us playing the game because he didn't want us running up and down the stairs. So we just started playing the game when he wasn't home. I was never that good, so my brothers will always tease me for being too slow. And I got tired of it. I started practicing and practicing and practicing because I wanted to be the fastest so I could laugh at them. I finally beat my oldest brother's fastest time, and I started celebrating. Come on, y'all, let's play balcony paper toss. Both of my brothers were acting really weird, saying that they didn't want to. What? Are you guys scared? Come on, Dad's not here. Oh, my goodness, I was in trouble now. See ya, Desmond. Won't want to be ya.
Oh, so you want to play balcony paper toss after I told you not to, huh?
I'm sorry, Dad, I was just trying to have some fun.
Well, let's see how fast you really are. 1, 2.
So this one time, my family and I went on a vacation, and my mom's friend and our son came too. The boy and I were around the same age, and for a while, we were getting along. But the more we played together, the more I realized that the kid was completely crazy. His main problem was he would just take things way too far. While we were on a resort, at first, it was funny watching him go crazy. But then it started getting really annoying. I was just trying to have some fun, but he was ruining every game that we played. And by the end of the day, I didn't want to be around him anymore. So later on, our parents were in the store and we had to stay in a car. He was bouncing all around and all of a sudden, he pulled out this little toy. He said, "Do you want some ice cream?" And I said, "No." Then he pressed the button and the toy hit me in the face. That was the final straw. I beat him up right in the car. And as our parents walked out the store, he jumped out the car and yelled, "Desmond beat me up! Desmond beat me up!" I thought I was gonna be in serious trouble, but little did I know, my parents were tired of him too.
Hey, Desmond, good job.
So like all kids, Halloween was one of my favorite days of the year. See, when I was a kid and I asked for candy, the answer was always no. But on Halloween, I was allowed to eat all the candy I wanted. I would have had a lot more candy if it wasn't for my older brothers. After we were done trick-or-treating, we would dump all of our candy into a big pile. That way we could just share each other's candy. But the only thing was, I was the only one putting all of my candy in the pile. Turns out, those two were holding back all along. It took me years, Halloween after Halloween, for me to find out. And this is how I found out they were getting me. One year, about a week after we went trick-or-treating, we finished eating all of the candy from the pile we made. But a few days after that, I realized both of my brothers still had candy. That's when it hit me.
Wait a minute, you guys still have candy? How?
Because they didn't put all their candy in the pile.
What?
They all started laughing at me.
Y'all ain't right. Give that boy back some of his candy.
Follow or subscribe for more childhood stories.